Recently, I sent an article how someone ran audio signal through a banana and you couldn't really hear the difference between the banana version and the direct signal. And that, of course, poses some questions to audiophiles who love to spend thousands of euros on fancy cables, because if you can run signal through random objects like bananas and you can't even hear the difference, then you probably can't hear the difference between normal copper wire and a more expensive fancy audiophile grade whatever wire selling for thousands of dollars. So of course I found the article amusing, but I didn't really do anything after reading it. But then other people started sending me the same article and thought people were quite excited about sending audio signal through fruit, so I might as well recreate it my side and see if it holds up, if it's true, whether it was a lie, whether it actually checks out that you can't hear the difference between fruit signal and direct signal. And I thought I'd throw in some other stuff as well to test out some random things. So out of the materials that I've selected for the test, at least one of them, if my intuition is correct, shouldn't even conduct electricity. So for that one, we shouldn't even get any signal come through at all. But for the ones that do conduct, I'm assuming that they'll conduct to lesser or greater extents, and so that might mean that there's different resistances, and there could be perhaps a loss of signal or degradation of the signal, maybe some high frequency roll off, or maybe it's quieter coming through. I don't really know, because I've never really tested this out before, so I'm as interested as, I guess, people who clicked on this video to find out the results. The testing methodology is pretty simple. I've got this cable here which is coming out and going back into my Focusrite Clara 8 Pre audio interface, and this is just an unbalanced audio cable which I have cut, stripped and tinned with silver solder. I have not joined the ground connection because that's internally already connected. It's just the hot cables. If I connect them up like this, that would be the direct signal, and give or take the round trip from the audio interface, that should be identical to the original signal. And then if we put something in between that, well, then we're going to be hearing whatever is in between that. So if it has high frequency roll off, or it doesn't sound good, or if there's some problem with it, or it doesn't conduct electricity, then that will result in a loss of signal, or silence, or just some degradation in the sound quality. So for the first thing, I've got some organic extra virgin olive oil. The audiophiles watching this video will probably think it should sound slightly peppery with a mild floral aftertaste. However, I don't think this is going to conduct electricity, so we should get silence when we listen to this. Next up, I've got some tomato sauce. This should sound retro, reminiscent of 80s Italo disco. Here's some balsamic vinegar. Intuitively, it should make the elements in the mix cut through. The soy sauce will of course reveal more authentic details, especially my Merzbow records. This organic tahini will make even the smoothest of jazz even smoother. And now for the fruit. We have an extremely ripe banana. We have a grape, a kumquat, and an already squeezed lemon. And I'll throw in some metallic objects as well. Here I've got a spoon, I've got a heavy cast iron frying pan, and I'll grab a guitar and do the guitar strings as well, and we can see how that sounds. So let's get into it. I'm going to play all of them in succession, and then you can hear if there's any differences and what those differences might be. So that was interesting. As I imagined, the oil did not conduct electricity in any significant amount. In fact, I think it's used in industrial settings, some oils as insulators. So yeah, that wasn't really that much of a surprise to me that we didn't hear anything for the oil. The tahini, I wasn't so sure. It is mostly fat content, I guess. I'm not really sure the exact composition of tahini, but it didn't conduct either. But here we have some more interesting results, because I thought pretty much stuff was just going to conduct or not conduct. But we do have some variation here. So the control was minus 12.8. So that was just the wire directly joined, as you saw with the alligator clip. So that's kind of our benchmark there. And we saw that the spoon, the guitar, and for the guitar I was connecting one side of the wire to the string and another side to the switch. It wasn't the string itself, so the electricity has to flow from the string to the bridge around the earth-in cable into the switch, and you saw that it happened very efficiently. So we can see that guitars are very conductive in the way that electricity flows around them. And then the cast iron pan as well, and the knife. All of these items were almost perfectly conductive, and yeah, there pretty much wasn't any change at all between them, between the shorting the wire directly and putting it across the knife or the pan or the guitar and the spoon. They're all pretty much the same. But what was interesting was how well these ones conducted. So the tomato sauce did surprisingly well, and the soy sauce as well did surprisingly well, and the lemon and the vinegar. But then the banana did less well than I actually would imagine, because a lot of people have been using a banana as some kind of example, and I've seen oranges used as some kind of example as well of conducting electricity, but they fared poorer. And to my surprise, the tap water was the worst of all of them that actually conducted. The tap water was pretty bad. So that was the levels, but what about the frequency response? Well, we can have a look now. The red line here is the control signal, which was just the wires shorted together, and then the grey line are the interesting things here, and in this case it's the water. So we can see that water has almost an identical frequency response to the shorted wire. But if we swap it out with a banana, we can see that we've got slightly more high frequency content. I'm not really sure how that happened, but we do have slightly more high frequency content. And the grape now, maybe the same or more high frequency content as the banana. Let's have a look at the guitar. The guitar is pretty much identical. This one is the kumquat, and we can see again a slight difference in the high frequency content, but somewhat counterintuitively it's slightly higher. I would have thought that there would be a roll-off, but it seems that there's slightly more high frequency content. I'm not really sure how to explain that. The lemon seems to be almost bang on the same. The pan, I'm assuming, is going to be the same, yeah. The soy sauce. Soy sauce is pretty much identical as well. And the spoon. Spoon's identical. The tomato sauce, pretty much identical. And the vinegar is also pretty much identical. And so really it's just the fruit for some reason has slightly more high frequencies. I can't really explain why that would be, but it does. Anyone knows why? Let me know in the comments down below.